Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Cassie here, and thank you so much for clicking on another video. Okay, so in today's video, we are talking about how to conquer and divide when you are somebody who has multiple passions in terms of careers. So if you are somebody who has multiple passions, you have a couple of different things that you're interested in, that you're actually passionate about, and are not sure which direction you should go, or if it's possible for you to dabble a little bit into each thing, then this video is for you. Honestly, I think that it's a lot more common than people might think with how many people are interested in multiple different things. And in a lot of cases, the things that people tend to be interested in or passionate about don't necessarily always intertwine with one another, which can sometimes feel overwhelming. And so I thought that it would be a great idea to talk about some practical ways to determine which route to go. If you are somebody who is working a day job, whatever that career is, whatever that path is, if you are somebody who is working a career job and also you have a passion to do something else completely outside of your field, like starting your own business, working a day job makes it a lot harder for you to have time to pour into your other passions. So depending on what your day job is and how demanding it is, you'll have to get creative about how you spend your time outside of that day job. Now, as human beings, we need time to wind down and decompress after work in between having things to do. Some people have children when they come home from their job that they have to take care of, a spouse to tend to, things of that nature. And so it can be very difficult to figure out how to chase and pour into your passions when you have a family, when you have a day job that takes up your time, when you have other responsibilities that take up your time. And so trust me, I understand. I know that as kids we were always told to write it down, but a lot of times we don't necessarily want to do that. I think in a lot of cases, public schooling has ruined people's passion to actually pick up a piece of paper and a pen and put their thoughts down. And I think it's a shame that that's the case. I guess she also thinks it's a shame that that's the case because she knows how much value there is in jotting things down. Whatever the idea is, whatever the plan is, whatever the passion is, write it down. Have a dedicated place that you keep returning to where you continue to expound on whatever that idea is. Take time to enjoy it. I feel like a lot of times we feel like we just have to do something like, oh, well, somebody told me that I should write it down, so I just quickly jot it down. Take time. Set some time aside to just focus on writing things down. Similar to writing things down and really getting into understanding things better, it's extremely important in whatever field or whatever interest that you have that you take time to do some research. And so that is actually going to be my second tip, is once you've written down your idea and you've fleshed it out, now is time for you to now you should spend time doing the research that's necessary to find out more about that field. So research might look different depending on what it is that you're interested in. So for an example, if you are somebody who is interested in real estate, you want to get into real estate, you have ideas of what your company will be called, you have ideas of all different kinds of things. Write those things down, figure out all of those things, get them out of you because you have them inside, and then take time to actually do some research about what it's like in your area where you're at, what it takes for you to get into real estate in the state that you live in. What would it take for you to get licensed? What would it take for you? What do you need to know, right? Like, take time to really do the research to find out what it entails in order for you to become this thing. You may find that in the research phase phase of your plan that the things that will be required of you are things that you indeed are not interested in. And if that's the case, it does help you in a way that you know, okay, listen, I thought that this was something that I was passionate about until I realized all of the ins and outs. Or on the other hand, maybe you're like, you know what? I didn't know that this was what was involved in this career, but now that I know that it is involved, you know what, I need to really figure out how it's going to be possible for me to be better at this thing, to know more about this thing. And so research is extremely important because it's going to teach you so much about whatever the career is, whatever your topic of passion is. And actually, it'll also reveal to you how passionate you truly are about this thing. I know people probably think that the research phase is the most boring phase, but ultimately, in whatever career that you're going to be doing, research is something that you should never cease to do. You want to continue to know about what it's like in that field, what it is that is expected of you, what it takes for you to become this thing. Like, you want to know the ins and outs. That is the only way that you can be successful, is if you are aware of the ins and outs. And so I want to encourage you to take time to figure out what is involved in what it is that you want to do. Do the research, write it down. Okay, so my next tip number 3, is going to be putting it into action. And I know you probably think, like, what? All we've done is write it down and do a little research. Why are we putting it into action already? Seems kind of hasty. If this is something that you are passionate about, there are going to be several rounds of putting it into action. And so I think that it is good earlier in the process to take the leap of putting it into action. Now, putting it into action is going to look different in every situation depending on what it is that you are passionate about. And so I'll give an example. If you are somebody who wants to start your own business, maybe you are somebody who is making bath bombs, right? I don't know. Maybe that's your passion. You've done the research, or you've read about and researched how to mix scents together, how to have a better reaction underwater, how to have a very potent smell, how to have a very sudsy soap, right? Whatever it is that's involved, you've researched all of those things, but now it's time to put it into action. Now it's time to see, hey, based on what I have learned, based on what I have written down, let me go ahead and experiment a bit and see what the process is like to actually do the thing. Okay, I want to make my first round of bath bombs. I want to try it out. I want to mix my flavors. I want to see my flavors. Your scents. Are you like that? Are you somebody who says flavors instead of scents, like interchangeably? I do that all the time. During this test it out experimental phase of your process, if you are somebody who is interested in, let's say, a different career path involving maybe a health field, maybe you want to get into nursing, maybe you're somebody who wants to own your own IV drip bar, right? Maybe you're already a nurse, you're already working in the field, but you don't know the ins and outs of owning your own business and starting the IV hydration process, right? By the time that you get to step 3, you've already done the research to find out how to open up. Who needs to be licensed in what area? The supplies and things of that nature that you need. And so your step 3, which is the testing it out phase, is going to look very differently than our bath bomb person. And the reason why is because at this stage, you don't yet have actually a physical location open and things of that nature, but you do want to make sure that you are comfortable and aware of how to do the job. And so you might sign up to go to an in-person IV hydration class. And in doing this, you are going through your 3 steps all at once, okay? You've already gone through step 1, which is writing it down. You've already gone through step 2. And now you're at step 3 in the experimental phase, which is going to require writing more down and doing more research. And that process is going to keep repeating itself until you're at a point where you can kick the business off for real. You can get started with your IV hydration. You can get started with your real estate. You can get started with making your bath bombs. We live in a world where people tell you that you have to decide what you want to do. You need to know now. In fact, you need to know yesterday what it is that you want to do. And you're going to spend all of your time and your energy and your money and your abilities making this thing, whatever this thing is that you want, to come to fruition. If you are willing to take a leap of faith, to believe in yourself, to believe in the gifts and the talents that have been given to you, that you have been blessed with, and you take the time to really develop those things, anything is possible. If you are somebody who is passionate about multiple things, the most important thing for you to do is take the time to figure out how to manage multiple things. Now, I know it's much easier said than done, but I want to encourage you that just because you went to school and decided, for example, I'll use myself as an example, just because I went to school and decided to become dental hygienist does not mean that that's what I want to be stuck, and we'll say stuck, just for purposes of understanding. I don't want to be stuck in that field and feeling like that is my only way that I can make money. The world is changing. Okay, the things that our parents and our grandparents have experienced in the past, they are much different now. There are so many different ways to make money. And even better, if you are somebody who is passionate in multiple things, you can find ways to monetize off of doing things that you are passionate about. So here's another thing that you should consider, and it's that just because it's something that you're passionate about doesn't mean that it needs to be the thing that makes you the bulk of your money. And that's the beauty of being somebody who's interested in multiple different career paths, because you don't have to pour all of your energy and all of your talents into one specific thing. Growing up, I was definitely always encouraged to zero in on what it is that I wanted to do, to pick one thing, to figure out what it would be, and to put my energy and my focus into that thing. And I know that that is extremely common. Growing up, that's what our parents want us to do, is to figure out what we want to do, pick one thing, right? They want you to be a lawyer, they want you to be a doctor, they want you to be a nurse, they want you to really focus in on what it is that you want and to chase that thing and to become that thing and let your life be about that. But now that I have gone that route and I have found something that I've loved, and I've loved it so much, but still have found that I have room and energy and space to be passionate about other things, it has really changed my way of thinking. I don't want to pick one thing just because I love it and stick with that thing. Yes, I love it and that's great, but it's not the only thing that I love. It's not the only thing that I'm passionate about. And so I just want to encourage you, if you have felt that way, maybe it's been subconscious, maybe you've been suppressing, feeling like there's more that you want to do, there's other different things that you want to chase. I hope that you are encouraged, and I hope that you know that you can do it. Okay, so I don't know if you're somebody who likes to read books, but I went to just go grab a book off of our little ledge over here that me and my husband have our books that we're collecting. So I wanted to share with you this book, which is Atomic Habits, and I'm sure you've heard of it, and if you haven't, I am so grateful that I'm the first person to introduce you to this book. It is an amazing book. I have read it already, I think like 2 or 3 times, and I'm definitely going to read it again. But this book is an absolute game changer. If you are somebody who finds it hard to set new habits, if you are somebody who finds it hard to stay disciplined, this is the book for you. If you are somebody who doesn't like to read physical copies of books, download Audible, okay? I think I actually have a link that I can share with you guys where you can get it for 30 days for free. And so I'll add it into my description down below if I do. But If you don't like to actually physically open a book and read it, then I recommend to go on Audible. The first time I read this book, I read it on Audible. Reading certain books and just reading in general will change your life. I don't know. I think that's another thing that public school has really ruined for a lot of kids is writing and reading. A lot of people are like, ugh, I don't want to do it anymore. I hated how we had to do it in school, and so people don't want to read. They constantly made us read books that we were never interested in, that were super boring. But I just want to encourage you, here, now, wherever you are, read this book, okay? It'll change your life. Okay, so quickly, I just wanted to share with you a little nugget directly from the book of something that you can take to apply to your life for this week, this year, this month, whatever you need. One of the most effective things you can do to build better habits is to join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. New habits seem achievable when you see others doing them every day. If you surround yourself by fit people, you're more likely to consider working out to be a common habit. If you're surrounded by jazz lovers, you're more likely to believe it's reasonable to play jazz every day. Your culture sets your expectation for what is normal. Surround yourself with people who have the habits you want to have yourself. You'll rise together. To make your habits even more attractive, you can take this strategy one step further. Join a culture where, 1, your desired behavior is the normal behavior, and 2, you already have something in common with the group. I love this little nugget, and just like this one, there are so many more in that book, and so I just want to encourage you to take some time to read it. On that note, I just want to thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I hope that you are leaving feeling encouraged and empowered to go out in the world and do you, the best you that you know how. Please leave your comments down below. If you have any book suggestions or any thoughts or questions, leave them down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.